Greetings everyone, welcome back to the 7th episode of Batt's Picks, the show where, because of my complete lack of a social life, I get to go through all of the week's Go games and bring some of the more interesting ones to your attention. Alright, and jumping straight into a game that starts off fairly simply, but launches into quite the influential style which you are seeing before you right now. We've got a game between two Chinese players, and don't feel bad if you have never heard of them. I really haven't heard of them before this game either. But as you can see, White is definitely going for influence in this game. It's kind of a theme for a lot of the games that were played in this week. Either they were very, very influential like we see here, or they were just like extremely messy and aggressive and kind of insane. And I kind of went with the more influential theme. If you're looking for a rather interesting game of influence that you are wanting to study this week, you can go ahead and grab this one or one of the ones that are going to be appearing next. Now, this next game, I have to confess, I kind of picked it simply because it is one of Park Chung-man's game. He is a very good player who always deserves to be brought to our attention. He's one of the top players right now in Korea, so you know he's pretty good. In case the professional 9-dan status didn't, clue you in. Though here we also have a game of influence, as it happens. So once again, if you are interested in influential games this week, and maybe you want to study a game from one of the very, very top players in Korea, then you can go ahead and grab this game. You'll probably enjoy it. Which brings us to our third game, and despite having a game from one of the top players in Korea, I have to say that this one is probably one of my favorites. So, immediately, what does that tell you? Well, knowing something a little bit about me, I do like to see horribly one-sided games, because I'm always interested in reinforcing the basics, and usually if something really, really goes wrong, and someone either wins or loses or whatever, by an enormous margin, chances are something really, really bad happened on a really, really basic level. And today's theme is pretty much influence. I'm spoiling this for you because I want you to take a look at this game. I really, really do. If anyone would like to see how you can so horribly bungle an invasion, this stone will tell a tale, let me tell you. Holy crap. What this winds up happening is probably something that happens in one of your games. It's amazing. If you're having trouble dealing with invasions, check out this game. I think it's a nice little lesson on how to handle and why the invading player really, really, really must remember to be aggressive. But not only aggressive, careful as well. There's a balance there that needs to be struck. And this player kind of slips off that balance and breaks his face. So download this game if you're looking for that. And last but certainly not least, bringing you one of my favorite old games between... When I say old, again, I'm going like way, way back into around 2003. And the reason why this is one of my favorite games to study is because so many of us are just impatient players. Maybe you yourself are an impatient player, and typically we know that about ourselves, and it's just like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna study this game is what you're gonna do. If you're one of those players that just pincer everything and you're afraid of ever letting your opponent get anything on the board, it's in your best interest to check this game out. It's one of the ones that I've constantly used to reinforce to my students if they have that problem as well. I really can't stress that enough. If you need to learn that valuable lesson that it is okay to let your opponent have something on the board, because let's face it, it's a two-player game and it's impossible to prevent that, then take a look at this game. It's going to probably do wonders for you. And that wraps up this week's Batt's Picks. I will admit that there was a game I was really, really hoping to bring you. We had another Lee Sedol game that was played just last night, as well as a game from a player who I'm sure all of you are now following. Unfortunately, I don't have links to those games that I can find anyway. So I didn't feel right bringing that game to your attention. Those two games will probably be next week. Or maybe just one of them will. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this week's Batt's Picks. For those of you who do not know, I will be streaming Go for 4 hours tonight. And you can find the link down below. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is, I think, negative 4 GMT, I want to say. So if you're looking forward to me streaming some Go on Taigam, you can go ahead and do that. If you aren't, then I hope you join me again next week for some more Batt's Picks.